Long as I'm the number one, I don't care who come after. When I came from Africa, they call me booty scratcher. Now they scream a nigga.
What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. It's your boy Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. This is episode number 85, and we're back. I was a little sick, so it took us a minute. Anyway, in this show, we got fucked again. We'll talk about that. Ilya Topuria is the champ over Volk. Hats off to him. UFC Mexico City happened. PFL versus Bellator happened. Karate Combat is kind of growing and shifting, doing some things. And I got my brown belt. So there. That's something. We'll chat about all of it. But first, if you like the show, tap the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, pass it along, drop me a comment in the algorithm, just so in the comment section, just so it grows the show a little bit. If you want to stop by the gym, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. You know the deal. We have super dope Muay Thai. I'm going to be honest. We have probably the realest in Miami. I mean, I can really only say that there's a few of us out there that are real, and I don't mean in Miami, I mean in Florida, period. And yeah, man, I'm pretty proud of that. We also have jiu-jitsu with Roberto Carrero. He is fantastic. As I said in the opening, I got awarded my brown belt. Fantastic instructor, system, and the whole program is growing. It's really amazing to be a part of. So if you want to try any of that stuff out, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. We will get you started, trial class, the whole nine. We'd love to have you as part of the family. We just out here loving each other, kicking each other's asses, and enjoying every minute of how it helps us grow. All right, so hit us up. Okay, first, Ilya Topuria proved a lot of people, even myself, wrong, sort of. I mean, I don't know if Volkanovski is just not recovered from the fight beforehand, the two fights. I don't know if it's whatever mental things going on. I don't know what it is. It could be just age catching up to him. It could be a lot of things. But you have to give Ilya Topuria the credit because he went out there and really performed. First round, Volkanovski threw a lot of kicks. He was keeping Topuria away, and I thought that was probably the best strategy for the first couple of rounds, really throwing kicks, teeps, going at his arms, trying to weaken his strikes by kicking his arms. He did a great job of that in the first round, but he did not continue in the second. Topuria started to be able to sort of counter better, get a little closer. Volkanovski did not continue at the pace that he was in the first round, which is unfortunate for him. Got pushed back to that space right by the cage in between those lines, and that's where a lot of people get knocked out. So hats out to Topuria. He is about to become he already has now. He's become an international star. And yeah, man, got a whole country behind him and a bunch of people love him. So we're about to see what's up. UFC Mexico City happened. Yair Rodriguez fought Brian Ortega. Ortega won by submission. I didn't really watch those fights. And I do like Brandon Moreno, and I do like Royval. Royval not knocked him out, but beat Moreno, which is great. I like them all. That whole, I think, featherweight division, I love it. So I'm looking forward to just seeing those guys fight a lot. But I didn't really get into Mexico City, to the fights at UFC Mexico City very much. As I said, I was a little under the weather after the fights, and so I just couldn't watch everything. I just was sleeping, to be honest. PFL versus Bellator happened, and like I said, they might have something. I'm just going to go from the top, the things I thought were important. Renan Ferreira beat Ryan Bader by KO, which, I mean, he's a giant, and he strikes hard, bro. He's a big guy. And I'm not necessarily surprised. He was feinting a lot. They were both sort of feinting a lot. And I think, with his size, and he has pretty good speed, it's hard for a guy like Ryan Bader, who's a smaller guy, to close that distance to get into wrestle, and especially early, where Renan Ferreira's got plenty of energy and he's able to time you coming in. He did his business, and that sets up Ngannou in the future. Now, everybody's starting to say that Ngannou's never going to fight MMA again, and I don't know. I think he should. I think he will. But I don't know. I think he should. I think he should come over here, fight Ferreira, let's just say he wins. He can then bow out gracefully. That sets up PFL to do a bunch of, they could do a one-night tournament for the heavyweight belt. There's plenty of dudes out there that do. Linton Vasil's out there. Uriah Bader might want in again. Ferreira would definitely be in there. I mean, there are heavyweights there that can contend, and they could do a one-night tournament for the heavyweight belt. I'm not saying they would do that, or they could obviously drag it out over months or a year or whatever it is. But there's opportunity there for Ngannou to go in, win that belt, bounce out, and it be something that PFL can actually sell as a product after Ngannou decides to go and box again. Eblin split decision over Castagnanoe. I think I said that right. I really like Jason Jackson, man. I think for me, he's one of the best fighters out there, and he doesn't talk that much, but he talks enough, and he backs it up, and I love that. About him. He's a fantastic fighter, man. Jason Jackson took out Ray Cooper, who is known as a knockout artist. Let's be honest. His winning potential in that fight would have been trying to ice Jason Jackson, and that did not happen. Really good fight. Yoel Romero, Thiago Santos, two big names that have value, whether, they're going to be champs or not. They fought entertaining-ish. But Yoel Romero wins. I mean, it's just AJ McKee was amazing. Fought Clay Collard and defeated him by submission. Clarissa Shields, everybody knows who she is. The quote. She beats DeSantis, and for me, I think PFL really has something, and they showed that they were ready for, to put on a good show. Not a great show, visually and all that, but I think the fights are good. The opportunities are broad. Moving on. Karate Combat, which I talked about early, before anybody was really into it. Bass Rutten was out there. They were showing we're going to do this form of striking. 5 seconds on the ground, you have a pit, you can use the wall, people can jump off it, you can run up it, you can all these different, for defense, for offense, all these different things. I was talking about this early on podcast. You can go back and look if you need. It is now being run by President Asim. What does he call himself? El Presidente. Now, he is local, Miami. He owns Goat Shed. I don't know if I was his first striking coach. That's a possibility. But I definitely was a sparring partner for many of those championship things that he went and did afterwards. So I've known this man, he's a man now. I've known him since he was a kid. And he's done very well for himself. Obviously, the Goat Shed went viral for all kinds of craziness. He is now the president of Karate Combat. So he's introduced a couple of things, which I think are pretty cool. He added jiu-jitsu bouts. They just had Craig Jones on there. And it was dope. He used the wall to hit a triangle. They did some jiu-jitsu before that. I think at the last show. I don't know if it was even here in Miami. But anyway, nonetheless, I think it might have been in Miami. Anyway, nonetheless, they've added jiu-jitsu, which is great. And there's a pit, there's a wall there that they can use to, add some creativity to the jiu-jitsu. I think we saw Rotolo in one use the cage to jump off and back take, which is great. I think all of these things add to what we really want, which is the action and the, cultivation of new techniques and ideas and all that stuff. There should always be an amount of selling the fight. It should not be at the cost of your integrity as a person. But shout out to Asim for, switching it up. They added a ground and pound rule, basically you can go knee on belly, you can punch, over the person. If the person doesn't kick you away or somehow lock you up, then you can continue to smash them, which, who wouldn't want that, man, for real. It adds a lot more action, and it adds maybe a little more reality to it. So you might not get jiu-jitsu on the street. Not everybody knows jiu-jitsu, but if somebody gets on top of you and starts punching you down, this is not uncommon. You got to know how to get back up if you're a martial arts expert, right? So that makes sense to me. Shout out to Asim again, El Presidente, out there working with Bass Rutten and all these other guys, putting on these Karate Combat fights and changing what the idea of these fights are and the entertainment value. And that's dope. So, yeah, I love all that. Let's move on to this. We got fucked again at the fights. We were going out for the PFL amateur featherweight kickboxing title, because they don't, the Muay Thai is kind of, it's weird. They don't really give us Muay Thai rules. And it started off, let's keep it like this. Let's just say it like this. We were fighting somebody we fought before, we lost a split decision to. Broccoli is an amazing fighter. The fight was very close the first time. Fair enough. When they called us to tell us, hey man, we got to fight for you, you can fight for the title, we were already 4 weeks into a training camp preparing for another fight. And then we had 4 weeks until this fight, 4 weeks of training until this fight. And knowing what we knew already about the guy that we were fighting, and watching videos of the fight before, and I commentated a fight that this guy fought in, I was well prepared to put together a great game plan for us to win the fight, because we had to discuss about whether it's about Warrior Heart or winning the fucking fight. And we really wanted to win this belt. Like, we worked tirelessly in the last 4 weeks on the game plan, the style, the way in which we were going to do everything. And Christoph Broccoli went out there and performed immaculately against this young man. To the point that the second round and third round, somebody said the first round immediately, that he was basically backpedaling the entire time. In the third and fourth round, my man was throwing, I don't know if you know what a rolling thunder kick is, but it's like a forward flip where you try to kick the dude over the top of the head. I mean, he landed a spinning, well, he didn't, but Broccoli's hand was up, but he threw a wheel kick. He threw a couple of things, but my man was throwing multiple rolling thunder kicks. And if you know anything about kickboxing or watch any kickboxing fights, when a person has that in their arsenal, a lot of times they'll throw it at the very end of a fight as like a celebratory kick or something. They'll throw it for real as a technique. But more than likely, if somebody's spamming a technique, it's because it's out of desperation. So constantly this kid is moving backwards and then trying to do rolling thunders and having to constantly get up off the floor. There were times where he just fell on the floor trying to throw, Broccoli grabbed his kick in the air, and like, it's super frustrating to watch that. I'm going to backstory this fight. The fight before, we lost a split decision as well. At the same event, we didn't know how we lost. I mean, I thought it was maybe close, but I was sure Broccoli won the last 2 rounds decisively. I talked about this before, but one of the officials called me out of the ring, said, hey man, I thought your guy may have got it. It was a little close, blah, 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 whatever. Cool. That same official came up to us before this fight and said, yeah, the last fight was close. You got to try to, the judges, don't leave it, let them, what? In the rules meeting, you said everybody should be out there busting their ass in these fights so that the judges can do their jobs. So what does this mean? Does my fighter need to go out and knock this guy out, or he's not going to win? Is that what we're up against here? I had another person who's very close to the fighting, I don't know what to say about that, community in this situation. And that person said to me, damn, what did you do in a former life? Like, what did you do to piss somebody off in a former life? That was all I needed to hear, because it was obvious to the crowd. I brought everybody, we probably had 30 some odd people there from the gym. I knew we were here about to get it. I brought my daughter over by the cage. I was like, yo, I'm about to call her up here, because like this, we worked really fucking hard. It's obvious. There's a clear answer who wins this fight. This is not even close. It's not something that we're worried about. I was only worried about the judges, because I know how they treat LMT fighters sometimes, me in particular sometimes. I offer this. I've been in this game, in this town for 20 some odd years, and I might should garner a little more respect out here, because some of y'all, I was your first coach about everything. Some of y'all, yeah. See, I know some things too. Like I know some things about these gym situations where you might be a great fucking coach and you're at a small gym and you might take your fighter and that fighter's knocking dudes out. But let me tell you what's going on in the back of those rooms. As soon as your fighter's at back by himself, those people are coming up to your fighter going, yo, man, I got connections with these people, those people. You should come over here, man. I got you. And your fighter might be like, man, I'm good. But then because your gym is not as grand as those other gyms, and because they see what they see out there in the atmosphere of the UFC world, of the fight world, you know, there's an anxiety there. I got to get to the top. I get it. I've been there. But when they walk back in some places, they go, oh, you know, man, maybe they were right. Maybe I'm better off at a place where maybe I'm closer to I'm going to skip the steps. I'm going to try to jump up here rather than just keep doing what I'm already doing great. Why would I? Because they back there telling your fighters, hey, man, y'all should just come on over here, man. I got you. I'll get you where you need to be. Just a heads up. I'm not saying these people in particular. I'm just saying, like, this is what's happening. Now, I'm going to continue putting these fighters out here, and we're going to continue smashing these people up. And don't have me out here like Cat Williams. Better yet, don't have me out here putting on these black Air Forces. Look, I love y'all. It's always love. But I don't like being not respected, and I hate worse even being blatantly disrespected. So what I say is we just going to keep grinding and doing what we do. We might have some new things up our sleeves as well, as far as like how to get past all this nonsense. Yeah, man, we got fucked. My guy won. I'm never like really like that. I just feel like, man, make a guy miss a lot, man. Make a guy run backwards a lot. I don't know if I would even want a guy that's running backwards constantly as the guy that's the champion in my organization. I could be wrong. And I'm not saying that he didn't fight a fight of the way he fights, like, but he was definitely, Broccoli was definitely in control of the ring, of the cage. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, we're going to try to get more Muay Thai fights and get away from like this sort of kickboxing with sort of these MMA promotions, and like we're not getting it's not the same vibe. So we're going to see what we can do. But anyway, peace, man. I love y'all. If you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe button. You know what it is. Oh yeah, I got my brown belt. Maybe we should talk about that next episode because I spent too much time here. All right. Peace. I love y'all. www.luckysmt.com for the gym. You know what the deal is, man.
When the system's been set up by racists trying to kill them, I just want to live my life and make it